What's going on, guys? My name's Aurelio. This is
And I'm Jaime.
this is Off the Line podcast. First and foremost, I want to talk about our clothing line company, Off the Line Apparel. Just want to give a little quick update about that. So we're selling the last of our OG stock inventory this summer. So please feel free to check out our website and just once this stock is out, we're only going to be selling our new designs, our new merch, just for the purpose to be focusing on the newer stuff. This will be the last batch of our OG inventory for a while. We will bring it back eventually, but for now, we just want to focus on new designs. And I think we're excited about that. So just grab the last OG stuff and but.
Yeah, and that'll be pretty special because I was one of our first batches. So if you guys can be part of that as well, be extra meaningful just with the beginning of the movement that we're trying to do here. So thanks for the help and support.
Yeah, so we covered a little bit about that. That's how we wanted to start, and we want to launch into why we're doing the Off the Line podcast. Well, like I mentioned earlier, we want to talk. We want to use this platform to first and foremost talk about our clothing line, which is Off the Line Apparel, and so to give an update on that. So this would be a really good platform for that, to know what we're doing, what's coming out, what's new, what to expect from it, and so that's a really good resource for this platform. And then we also want to use this platform to kind of what do you want to talk a little bit about why we want to do the podcast and why we're opening this up for audience and stuff?
So the main reason for the podcast is to kind of elaborate a little bit more on what we stand for, what we represent, not just as individuals, but what we want Alpha Line,
as a company,
the company to mean, to stand for. And I feel like in these longer sessions, we can actually break it down more bit by bit and just kind of share what we want to help you guys see that we do, right? So first and foremost, we want to show that there's more inauthenticity out in the world. So we want to kind of help you guys navigate. How do you become more authentic, right? How do you can become better? And
Okay, well, this is one of our we can. This is one of our first podcasts, so bear with us. Yeah, so once again, we want to use this platform to really connect with our audience, and so you guys get to know more about us and what we really stand for. Because, once again, a lot of inauthenticity out in the market, and we feel that we have a greater vision and mission and purpose and movement with our Alpha Line clothing line, and so we really want to elaborate on what it really stands for, because I think at first, it's easy to just look at it and be like, it's just another clothing line, another fitness line. And to some degree, yes, of course, we are a fitness clothing line apparel company. That's kind of where our vision started. So just to kind of segue, we wanted to kind of do this in three parts. And we do want to talk a little bit about Alpha Line Apparel and where it comes from, what it stands for, and what the mission and purpose of the company is, like the soul of the company, and what we want it to represent and stand for. And so do you want to touch base on that, kind of starting out with I lost my train of thought. Do you want to start with kind of giving a little introduction on Alpha Line and explaining why where it started, how it's evolved, and kind of where we are now, what our mission and purpose is now?
Yeah, so originally started, for me, the vision came back in after high school, around 2013. And then from there, it was just a process of finding a name and everything. That in itself is a process, because everything that you want or that you think of is taken already. But the name Alpha Line came to me. I looked it up. Nothing was taken. Sure enough, around the same time, Alpha Lee, that's when Christian Guzman was starting his company. So that's pretty much where it all started. I wanted to.
You went through the process to
correct.
Get a trademark.
Yeah, we went through the whole trademark process, and that's why it took a little longer as well. But we did it all. We got it figured out, and we just wanted to create once again more a movement rather than just the t-shirt, rather than the logo. So then when I shared the vision with my brother, it's like we just got this like flood of energy, and just like we were onto something. We were really connected to something bigger than ourselves. And throughout the years, it's just been the process of um, what do we really want to do with it? How do we want it to help people? How do we want it to impact others? And yeah, at first it started by us obviously working out. That's the only way we knew that how to improve yourself, and from there, it kind of really evolved into finding a transformational teacher that really helped us transform from the inside out. Just because with our upbringing, it wasn't the best upbringing, so we were kind of derailed from our greater path. But once we found that teacher, naturally, and doing the work, we kind of got back to our mission.
Right. And I think what's kind of cool about Alpha Line and like the connection to us is that as we've evolved, like it kind of is evolving too. And it, like kind of once again bringing back to like the soul of the company is like we're growing and expanding. And I think like what's cool is that like I feel like Alpha Line is growing and expanding too. You know,
Yeah.
hence why we're like gonna um like the merch, like we're gonna change it and evolve it because I think like it's pretty natural for things to change and evolve. Like even though like the original stuff is cool too, but I think it's also cool to bring in new stuff, new designs, like new ideas, just because like we're evolving too. So I think naturally, I think that it's good for the company to evolve as well. And so I feel that yeah, we started with this vision of Alpha Line to just I don't think we knew exactly what we wanted it to stand for. Like I think it's like once again it's evolved. And you, like you said, I think originally we knew that we wanted to like inspire and help others, but obviously to some degree we had to like obviously like work on ourselves as well. And I
Correct.
think
Yeah.
that we started with with as a fitness clothing line, it's like whoa, like fitness is a really good way for someone to get their like control of their life. But I think like it's evolved a lot. Like even though yes, fitness is still like our like one of our great pillars of like living a good life.
Yeah.
However, like there's a lot of other pillars too. But we've learned that over
Yeah. We've
time.
uncovered that
We've uncovered
throughout the time.
that it's not just about like fitness and looking ripped, even though that's a really good start to like improve, like self improvement. Of course, working out, eating better, it naturally makes you feel better. But there's also a lot of other pillars um, to having a good like lifestyle, like a well rounded lifestyle. And so I feel that with Alpha Line, we want to kind of like introduce like maybe like other like
Well, the other
other
pillars,
areas,
yeah,
right?
that are missing, that we see that are missing out in the world, like either people are too focused on just fitness or just nutrition, or some people are just too spiritual, and even just being too spiritual kind of
Hurts you.
hinders you, it hurts you, and it's not the be all end all, because we're here in this physical world, so we are meant to work with this world as well. And how do you do that? How do you merge the two worlds, physical and spirituality? And that's kind of what we learned throughout the years, and that's kind of what we want to share with you guys as well. Maybe it can help you guys.
Right. And I think like, coming back to like spirituality, like I think like that's just a way of saying um something, like I think like at the end of the day it depends or it comes back to you like how you want to view it. Like spirituality can be very like discouraging to some people because they're like, well, like what does that mean? I
Yeah.
mean, but it like when you look at it like once again in a practical standpoint, it's really just like improving yourself like internally, like when you're connected very well spiritually, naturally, like emotionally, physically, um, neurologically, you're like you're wired more correctly. So like physically, so even if you can't like maybe you don't understand like well, what is this like spiritual thing like you're talking about? Like I don't think you should get too focused on that and like focus on like well I think like a very practical sense like our mentor says it's like personal development. Like ultimately it's about improving yourself. And so like I just mention that so people don't get too confused or caught up on the terminology spirituality. Like you can call it whatever you want, personal
Correct. Yeah.
development, you can call it
Well, there is a
self-growth.
difference.
Like
Yeah.
I mean
Exactly.
there is a difference and there's obviously once again different levels to like improving yourself in different pillars and different aspects. And I think
Yeah.
that's what's so cool is that to some people that can be overwhelming, that it's like there's a lot to do, and it's true, and we haven't uncovered everything about ourselves to this day. and it's taken time. You don't discover and uncover and heal all your crap within a year. I mean, a lot of people believe you can heal within like a couple weeks or a month, and
Yeah,
it's
which
not.
is all
It's just,
crap.
yeah, it's not true. Like we're here to evolve and to grow. I think that has become more well known. You like the more traditional way of doing things are kind of like fading out, and so I think like for Alpha Line, we wanted to be like a more authentic platform, a more authentic company that actually represents like the truth rather than just trying to convince people to like a company
So what looks good.
to what looks good, because that's like the main thing of social media nowadays.
Yeah,
And I think
looking good,
looking good,
attention.
like willing to sacrifice your authenticity with inauthenticity just so you can get people to like you or to make a sell. Like that's not what we stand for, and that's not what we're about. Like we genuinely want to like grow Alpha Line apparel and this podcast or platform. I mean, we'll use multiple platforms, and
Yeah, we're pretty much going to be using this vehicle, using Alpha Line as a vehicle to help people transform themselves to the best version.
exactly. And I think that kind of going back to the vision, I think that ultimately is what Alpha Line stands for. Is like like the quote they say, like be the king of your own inner kingdom. And I think that like it's because, and that's like what we want to do is to try to help people get back to like that, like you know mentality and mindset that they can take control of their life and that they can be the alpha lion of their own kingdom. Like I think that people have the illusion, well, I'm not a leader, so I don't need to be an alpha lion. But I mean, you are the leader of your own life. Like you're the captain of your own ship. If you
Yep.
don't like the way your life is going and you're making poor choices or whatever, like I mean, you are a leader, and it maybe not be to a big group, but you're at least a leader to yourself. And if you have family and kids,
To
or
the
just
people close to
yeah,
you.
to the people close to you. So that's the thing. It's like the more that we can get people to like recognize that, I think the more we can evolve as a humanity. Because obviously we are hurting a lot as a collective, people. And so I think Alpha Line is a great, like you said, vehicle to kind of portray that image. And because I think it all starts with that, like kind of knowing what you're like looking for and what you're like
Correct.
gravitating to. So I think like Alpha Line could be a really good moral model, and it's not just about me and you being those role models, like a role model as a company, because I feel like the more we put this out there, the more we'll attract more people like us, which means we'll attract more people, and that's bigger than us. Like
Hmm.
Alpha Line is doing that,
Yeah.
So it's so much bigger than us, and I think that yeah, I think that that's what Alpha Line is. It's for the people. It's for everyone else. Like yes, we're the ones kind of like starting this movement
Hmm.
and stuff, and like wanting to bring more authenticity into not just the fitness industry, but like a lot of industries and just humanity in general. But I think ultimately it's like about bringing everyone together, and that
Correct.
Alpha Line kind of being one of those things to bring people together to like rise up to like
Yeah. Right
more.
now, we already have a lot of division. We don't need any more. So if we can build something where more like-minded
Yeah, more
individuals
more
come
unity.
together, then that in itself helps more people as well.
Yeah, exactly. So just to kind of go off of that thought process, I think like a big thing right now is that you have to have it all figured out, and you need to like you either have to suck it up and just figure it out yourself, or you already have it figured out because you're quote unquote an adult, or you should just have your life together. And so like I think that there's this misconception that you should just figure it out and do it on your own, but I
Yeah.
think that just hinders you and hurts you even more. So like, why do you think like people don't like aren't willing to ask for help, or to reach out? Like, what do you think prevents a person from like just being vulnerable and like just like, or when should a person kind of like ask for help? Like, what do you think that gauge is? Like,
Yeah. Well, I think first and foremost, people are programmed to not ask for help. We're conditioned to just tough it out, to keep
mm-hmm,
going, especially in our different cultures, whether you're Hispanic or whatever that may be. We're just taught
mm-hmm,
to stop being a little bitch and push through. So I think that's the first and foremost. Us as society, we're programmed to just keep going, don't ask
mm-hmm.
for help, just get it done, just do it. But that in itself, obviously, if we were meant to be doing it all on our own, like our mentor says, we would get our own island. But clearly, we're here to learn from each other, get support from each other, so we can keep growing and evolving. So I would say that's the first thing that society, like we're programmed. So to
Right.
recognize that in itself, subconsciously we're picking up on, and just as a default, that's what we're going to like just
Just
either
keeping it and doing it
keeping it
yourself.
in, shut down,
Right.
and just I don't know. And then individually, some people may feel shameful or just feel guilty.
Right.
So that in itself will block them from reaching out, or they'll feel like they're doing a disservice to someone, or like they're like a burden, you know.
Right.
So they rather just keep it to themselves, so they're not creating a burden to somebody else.
Like they'll just figure it out because they don't want to. Right. That makes sense. And then a lot of the times, like people are like, just tell me, like even just
Yeah.
talk to me about it, right? Like sometimes
Mhm.
it's just as simple as like you don't even need feedback. You just need to get it off your chest, or it depends on the situation, right? Like it
Correct.
depends what the person's going through. But yeah, I can see like how someone else would be like, wow, like would think that like I'm like yeah a burden to you now because I'm yeah
Correct.
that's
Because I'm sharing this heaviness with you. Well, and that's why once again, that's what we want to do with Alpha Lion. Have also a real support system that can really help people.
yeah
Because a lot of people say, "Oh, will come to us," and
we'll help you.
yeah, but then themselves they don't have the skills, the tools, the teachings to help that person just because it's so complicated. You know, it's not
Right.
something easy. You're dealing with somebody's emotions and
Trauma
trauma and different things that different parts of them,
that you don't
that you
understand,
don't even understand. So for us, we're really fortunate that we found this mentor. I'm certified as a transformational life coach through my mentor.
which has been years of
Correct. And it's been years of training. It hasn't just been a weekend where you pay $10,000, $15,000 and get certified and then go out in the world and cause
start
more
charging.
damage to
Yeah.
different peoples because you're pretty much just screwing them up. And that's why the life coaches or the different coaches are getting a very bad reputation because they are not trained to do that. They think they are because they got that certification that is just more money based and self centered. But if you really put it to the test, they don't know how to truly help those people become better or just to get a better situation.
Yeah. No, I think that's a really good point. And yeah, and it's not to say that we have all the answers or that we're the be all end all, but it's like I think a part of it is too is like just be mindful of who you're working with, and just like anything else, like if I think the first and foremost, if you can get out of your own way and ask for help, I think that's a great start. And just already be aware that you might come across someone who's not authentic and is not good, but that shouldn't stop you from continuing to look for help or support. Um, I mean, we want to say that we're a good platform. So if you ever do need help, or like if you're going through something, or maybe you know someone's going through something, you don't know how to deal with it. Like, yeah, that's true. We've done a lot of work, and we do work with that. With that area of like emotional trauma and stuff like that. Like he's certified, which means that he's certified to like actually help someone work through those traumas. So like, if that's important, that if you do come across this video, or you are in need of help, or you know someone that's like needs help, but you don't know how to help them, or you don't know what to do, like definitely feel free to reach out to us.
Yeah.
Like he's certified, so he knows exactly what he's doing. I'm actually in the process of being certified, which means I've done some training, but I'm not. And I've been doing it for years, like within my own work, but to actually do the program, I've done a year and I'm still not certified. So that just goes
Yeah.
to show
That to get this certification
it's
when
not
this
easy.
teacher is not just cookie cutter crap, it's the real deal. It's like you need to prove worthy that you are ready to become certified. You just don't pay a fee and get the handout or
Right.
get the certification. Is like the teacher wants to make sure that you know what you're doing because he knows the importance of the work that you're doing out in the world.
Exactly. And I mean, to bring up the pillars again, I feel like this is a really important pillar, and like I think it's the pillar that people miss, because it's so unattractive, or it's so
Yeah.
taboo. Like you said, we're not programmed to think this way, and I think that it actually is that's a huge point, because obviously, it's becoming more obvious that we've been designed to think a certain way, to do certain things, like, you know, you're born, whatever, go to school, graduate school, get a job. Like obviously we're starting to see that that's becoming like an old system, and so it's not
Yeah.
working. But then it's like, and not that having a structure or system is not
Just
good.
having the right
Yeah, I think
structure.
having a good structure and system is great, actually. I think like me personally, I work better off of structure. But yeah, having the right structure is huge. And I think that the structure that we have currently, within our school systems, and we don't learn anything. Okay, like first and foremost, just on a practical standpoint, we don't learn anything about being an adult in school. We don't learn about taxes. That's just on a practical standpoint. So what the hell are we learning? Okay, well, we're not even learning about like emotional trauma or like how to heal ourselves. Like, how is that not a huge topic, right?
Yeah.
Because it's like, like you even see it like in movies or shows where like there's a kid going through trauma and they don't know how to help them. It's like, how the hell is this support, like a school system who's supposed to support a family and a kid, they don't know how to help them. Like that's pretty sad to me when, clearly like we all pay taxes and we have a lot of money that we put into, well, clearly that's coming out to the light with what's going on with Trump and Elon. And
Yeah.
not to get political or anything, but clearly you can see how that system is working on, how it's being collapsed. So yeah, I think it's being able to recognize that we've been living our lives a certain way for a certain amount of time, and to also cut ourselves some slacks because we weren't taught any better.
Yeah.
We don't know any better. And I think that once again, Alpha Line, well, specifically this podcasting platform where we get to open up more and talk more to you guys and express like what we actually stand for. Well, like I think this is like an important pillar in life in general, is learning how to like work with your own stuff, because like what's really attractive right now is mindset, discipline, and all these things, right?
Yeah, like looking good, fitness, eating healthier. But even that in itself, if you just do that in itself,
it's not really. And is this sustainable, right? That's the true question. Is like, okay, cool, you found something, but are you going to sustain it, right? And I think that that's where the missing piece is like, yes, I think having discipline is great. I think being motivated is great. I think like eating healthy is great, right? I think all those things are wonderful, but the truth is that if you have a lot of emotional trauma, and like now it's proven by science, it's not just like us talking out of our ass. Like when someone is stressed, they drop into a pattern that's not productive to their being, So when a person's under a lot of stress or trauma, they either like, it's self-induced like harm. So it's like they're either gonna like eat a whole bunch, or they're gonna work a whole bunch, or they're not gonna eat. They're basically gonna participate in an activity that's not going to help them evolve or grow as a person.
That in itself, that's the more practical, right? But then even just having that stress inside your body,
like, your organs, like your organs. Now it's like scientifically proven that
it's causing damage.
It's causing damage
just by the stress being in your body.
So we can't sit here and say like, oh yeah, like that spiritual, emotional stuff, like learning how to heal myself, like that's bullcrap. Like that's not. And to the person who thinks that's true, like, I don't know, dude. Like, I think you need a good wake-up call because...
Well, and they will get the wake-up call just because everything that's going on in the world right now, as you can see, things are getting crazier. And it's because of this, because we're not getting to our own shit. So the shit is getting to us.
Exactly.
And more individuals are going to be getting those wake-up calls.
Well, and I think it's more unpleasant when your shit comes to you, because then it's like, it's like when you like leave a problem unattended. Like the problem doesn't resolve itself. The problem's only getting louder. Like you may like ignore it or push it away or push it down or whatever, but eventually the problem's going to come up, and it's like, and any type of like aspect of life, whenever you ignore a problem, it doesn't just resolve itself. Like you have to physically go and resolve it. So it's like, if there's something going on within you, if you're not willing enough to like go to it or find someone who can help you, maybe like start working, towards healing whatever you have going on inside, like it's gonna come. Like, and maybe like if this is new to you, you like can't really spot it, but once you start to learn, like it's easy to spot, and like clearly like people's choices and like cause and effect, like it's like a universal law. If you do something, you're going to get a result, which is whether it's positive or negative. So you go to the gym, you eat well, you eat healthy, effect, you're going to have a better body, you're going to have a better, functionality of your body, right? Well, if you start to make poor choices, what do you think the effect is going to be, right? And are you making those choices consciously or unconsciously?
And so it doesn't matter.
It doesn't even matter, because whether you're aware of the choices you're making, you're going to get a result. So that's like a perfect way to analyze your life is, do you like the results that you have? Yes or no? Are your relationships crap? Yes or no? Are, your relationships with yourself crap? Yes or no? With people, like yes or no? Like how is your day-to-day life like looking like? So once you start to take a step back and analyze, like you really can see like fuck, like I really am not happy with like the way I treat this person. I really am not happy the way this person treats me, and I'm allowing them to treat me this way. Like I don't like it. Like
Yeah,
why that? Why am I in this situation? Well, like why are you, right?
exactly.
But you made those choices to a degree, so it's like this pillar is very important, and to not get too into it because of course we're just like introductory and just kind of like give ideas and of like what we stand for and what we believe in. I think that like this pillar, like spiritual, emotional, like I think it's all like really well connected. Like the closer you get to like who you are as a spiritual being, I feel like the more authentic and vibrant you can become on the on this plane, the third dimension, like here on this planet. A lot of people, certain communities are waiting till once they cross over, then everything's going to be magical, and it's like, well, is it? I don't know, and I'm not willing to wait to find out. I'd rather do the work now,
Now,
take
yeah,
care of my shit, and I think that just I like to think very practically, just because like it just makes things more simpler. So it's like if I know there's a problem, I like to take care of the problem, and
yeah,
whatever that implies and whatever that means. I'm kind of at a point in my life where if something's not working, I'm willing to change it, because why would I want to keep like participating in something that's making my life harder? Right? I
correct,
don't think
yeah,
anyone wants to sign up for that. Wouldn't you want an easier, more vibrant, more chill life? Like I mean, I do.
yeah, correct.
So I mean, I don't know if there's anything you want to add to that,
No, I
or
think that's the main thing, and that's pretty good for now. I think we covered a good amount. So yeah, just once again, it's introduction, even though we kind of went pretty deep, but that just goes to show how deep this part of ourselves really is. And throughout the episodes, we kind of want to break it down a little bit more, just because there's different aspects to it. But yeah, that's gonna be for sure a big missing part that there is out in the world right now.
yeah. Well, yeah. I think just to kind of like wrap this whole session off, I think that ultimately that's what Alpha Lion stands for, is like this symbol and like this beacon for hope, and to hopefully like inspire and help people become like the better versions of themselves. And I think that that means different for everyone. Everyone's at a different stage in their life, and everyone has a different way of how they want their life to look. But I think
Hmm.
I think that we can really be like that at the very least, like that inspiration, like you said, that good support system to help people at least navigate more through their own lives. And yeah, and if you ultimately you just like how the shirt looks and you think it looks cool and that's your way of supporting us, and hey, like thank you, like we appreciate that support
Yep.
as well, because that is actually very supportive. Because even if you in your life you don't feel like you're going through anything, or like maybe you don't really know anyone who's going through anything, but you just like our design and our merch, like that's really cool too. We don't want to
Yeah.
discourage anyone to not want our products. Ultimately, we are selling a product. So we want our product to be, to be good, to look good, and to feel good for the people who do purchase it. We want to give you your money's worth.
Yeah.
But ultimately, like the reason for this podcast is to kind of elaborate more on like what we stand for and like what we see out in today's world, and how we feel things are going, and what we agree with, what we don't agree with. And that's okay for people to disagree with us too. I think that would be really cool too, to kind of give different perspectives
Yeah.
on everything. So yeah, just thank you for the support. We appreciate you guys. Like once again, there's many ways to support us and help us and kind of launch this movement, and get Alpha Line more out into the world. Like I said, I feel that we do want to provide a good product and service, on a practical standpoint, but on a deeper standpoint, we also want to make an impact on on the planet, and to help people who need the help, because that's what we're about. And I feel
Hmm.
that that is our drive, is to help and support. And so ultimately that's our bigger goal. And yeah, I think that any support is appreciated, and we just thank you guys for watching us. And yeah, and once again, feel free to check out our merch on our website.
Yeah,
That's
go
the
to
last.
social media as well. Follow us on Instagram,
Yeah,
and from
follow
there
us,
we'll have
share
the
it.
website too, so you can just click there and easily take you, so you can purchase. And yeah, once again, you're not. That's why we kind of want to share a little bit more of what we stand for, because you're not really just purchasing the shirt; you're purchasing and supporting, so we can help more people as well.
Yeah, so there's more to the cause than just buying a shirt. But even like once again, if you just want to buy the shirt, you're still a support and service and
Yep.
help to us. So yeah, we appreciate any support. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. And once again, this will be the last batch of our original OG Alpha Line merch, and then we'll be launching our new designs, and we'll be selling that. We'll be selling that for a while, and it'll be some time before we bring back the OG. So yeah, feel free to grab that before it's off the shelves. So thanks again, guys. Just making sure I covered everything. So yeah, well, thank you
Yeah.
guys. We'll see you guys next time.
Thank you guys.
Peace.